Hi, I'm Mark Small, Civil Discourse Now. Indiana's governor and lieutenant governor, those offices are up for election in November 2024. The Republican ticket consists of Mike Braun, who's running for governor, and Micah Beckwith, who obtained the nomination of the Republican Party at the June convention. Now, Braun won the primary with over 230,000 votes. Beckwith won at the convention with 67 delegate margin for getting delegates. And he had campaigned for a year to get people to run as delegates. I want to talk about what Beckwith has done in that belief system of Christianity of committing blasphemy. Now, you might say, well, you don't believe in Christian. You're not a Christian like he is. No. He's bringing God into government. Once he does that, it's fair game, especially when he's lying. Let's look at what he said. January 7th, 2021. He did a selfie video on Facebook. Said, well, I was praying this morning and he gets in his car and does a selfie and he goes, the Lord said to me, Micah, that was my hand at work yesterday. I sent those riots to the Capitol. Okay. Now, why didn't he say anything? Because that would be kind of important. You think that was kind of an Old Testament event, like, and back in like they would have reported on something like that. Beckwith didn't say anything. Why not? Well, let's see. Because the press was bad. Everybody was saying that what had occurred was absurd and terrible, and that was it. Even Lindsey Graham said, "I've had it as far as it is. I'm not going any further." Then things quieted down. Beckwith kept his head down because he thought maybe I stepped over the line just a little bit. So anyways, time passes. That he didn't say anything to any attorneys. These people, if he believed the crap that he was saying, those people were innocent. They were charging the Capitol. And he did nothing at all. He could have said, I'm here, I spoke to God, and the U.S. Attorney's Office immediately would have wanted to have a talk with him, would have issued subpoena. The attorneys for the defense would have done the same thing for any defendant. They would have wanted to have somebody giving exculpatory evidence for their client to testify in court. Do you think maybe Beckwith is a little scared of maybe committing the crime of perjury? Because wouldn't pass the test really well and have him talk to God. Quite possibly, but then we go into this year and he's campaigning on the trail. Campaign trail. One person was a delegate to the convention, and I think it was in Fort Wayne. This guy said, well, we all know about what happened on the 6th of January as the FBI and Pelosi doing that. In other words, a false flag event. What did Beckwith do? Well, think about a similar situation when Senator McCain was campaigning, and a woman in a town hall thing in 2008 said, well, Obama's something, not an American. And McCain said, wait a minute, no, ma'am. I know him. He's an honorable man. That takes guts. It wouldn't have taken Beckwith any guts. He's on the home court. Those people supposedly love him. Instead of saying, God spoke to me, and it wasn't the FBI and Pelosi. Those people were, whatever, but he didn't. Well, he doesn't have any guts. He won't debate me. He won't debate anybody. That was a presser he did at the state fair. So what do we have then? Let's see. We have an interview in which he said, yeah, the Lord said that it was an insurrection. I don't put that much, I'm sorry. He's talking about the same God as the Old Testament? Do you think God in the Old Testament would have let some putz like this go, well, I really wouldn't agree with that. No, I would have struck him with a lightning bolt. So what do we have here? It's not a matter of faith. And some people say like, well, man, he's got his beliefs and you gotta, No, once he brings that into the government, and he lies about that, I'll get to that on the next segment. Once he does that, it's fair game. He gave people excuses not to get vaccinated for COVID. I don't know what the mortality rate is generally in terms of percentages. If you don't believe it happened, wasn't real or something, go back to championship wrestling or whatever it is you do on your afternoons on weekends. But realize that if people died because of that, because of his talking about these things that don't exist, that's a very serious thing. And the last thing we need, even though It's lieutenant governor and doesn't carry a lot of weight. It's next in line to governor. And we don't need somebody like Beckwith in there for anything, Mark Small. Civil Discourse Now.